Mama hollering at you this evening or this morning, depending on where in the world you're at. I want to talk about the 10th Odu called Osa Meji. Now, Osa Meji is an Odu where the primordial mothers take precedence. One must learn to respect the primordial mothers. The elders of the night must be respected, and so are women. Women are to be respected. This Odu is very important when it comes to dealing with women. It's also the story of the spirit of Odu who takes the place of a woman. And Odu sees that other male Orishas have the power where she did not appear to have any power. And one of the protests of hers was, Olodumare, how come you give the males the power and you're not giving me any power? And Olodumare grants her the power of Aje, which some have translated to being witchcraft. However, I like to call this the divine feminine power. So in Osa Meji, you pay homage and respect to feminine power, just like on Ogunda Meji, you pay homage and respect to masculine power. Osa Meji is also the spirit of runaway. People tend to run from challenges and responsibility. However, it is important to stay the course. Otherwise, we have a life full of chaos because of incomplete duties, commitments, and lessons that we have to complete if we want to move forward to the next level. The challenge is confronting the very things that we fear, facing that which is a challenge to us. Fear is natural. It's a response to a threat in order to ensure the survival of our existence. So it's natural. However, it is also the feeling we get when we see or think something can harm us, but we're supposed to learn so that we do not experience the same thing over and over again, or when the problem visits us again, we know how to cope with it, or we also learn what not to do. Like, for instance, when a child puts his hand on a burner and burns his finger, he will learn that it's not a good idea to do so, and he will not repeat that because he fears getting burned again. Now, in another situation, where we experience traumas or disappointments throughout our lives, we often become fear-based. This fear, which is often, just like the acronym suggests, false evidence appearing real, will slow us down on many levels. This fear-based consciousness will make one controlling and argumentative. And this Odu people are warned of starting arguments. It's not a good thing to argue with people, give people a hard time. So it's good sometimes to let some things go. Otherwise, they'll build up into bigger problems that could have been avoided. So this Odu deals with being able to weather the storm and learning how to weather the storm within yourself. Another thing is that this Odu has a lot to do with time. And from the Yoruba perspective, time is not linear. Time is cyclical, and time deals with evolution and revolution. It also suggests that there's a connection with the primordial mothers and the lunar cycles, because it deals with the evolution or revolution of the moon around the earth, which is a circular orbit around our planet, while our planet is doing an elliptical orbit around the sun. Oya also speaks heavily in this Odu. Now, Oya, she always brings about change. So she comes through here, and she is the hurricane that is so powerful that it will uproot a house and toss the house across the city. Oya becomes the ride or die for Shango, who also presides over the keeping of time. And it said that Shango played a part in the creation of the calendar. Oya presides over the supermarket in which the world we live in operates like. And in this realm, there is a constant exchange of energy. The world itself behaves like a hurricane. We have all kinds of storms here, and it's not just the form of the hurricane that takes place out in nature, but also the hurricane that takes place within ourselves where we become hysterical or anxious and we begin to panic. And this is why it's good to cultivate a connection with inner peace. That's important. Now, Oya also deals with the lungs. And the lungs, of course, are connected with the power of breath. So sometimes when you feel like you're uncentered, it's good to just sit and breathe. And a good breathing exercise, which is one of my favorites, a very simple one, is you're breathing into the nose, counting to 4, pause, count to 4, breathe out, count to 4, pause, count to 4. And you keep repeating this process until you're in a state of relaxation. Also, this particular exercise will get you in a trance state. Now, inner peace is important. And we also find ourselves being centered so we do not get swept away in the storm. We learn how to remain in the eye of the storm and move along with it because your true nature is actually peace. And also, what keeps us alive is the very breath of Olodumare. So it's good also to learn how to work with the lungs. Now, there's also a method when you're feeling depressed. According to the works of Montauk Chia and those who are familiar with Qigong and the healing breaths or the healing sounds, you can focus on the lungs and you can make this sound. Breathing in, and then you're going to say, and you're visualizing a white light around the lungs. We're going to do it a couple times. Breathing in. So you're making a hissing sound. And as you're doing this exercise, remember, don't forget to visualize a color like gold or white light around the lungs, symbolizing the purification of the lungs. And this will help center one, and it will also lift feelings of depression. Now, Osa Meji is also about having mastery of the market. And one of the phrases that you'll hear often in the Yoruba tradition is, the world that we live in is a marketplace, and heaven is our home. And it's true, our home is the source of existence. So it's always remembering and reconnecting with the source, which gives us the power to move forward. People born in this sign can be great when it comes to running a company and being business oriented. Hence, becoming masters of the market. But in order for us to do that, it's good to learn how to be centered within this world that is constantly going through changes and transformations. With that, I'm going to let you go, family. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Odu, which is number 11, which is Osa Meji. Talk to you soon. Peace and enjoy your journey.